Hi everybody, this is Sarah from Serenity. Today's video is on the upcoming Mercury retrograde for the summer of 2020. Obviously, this astrology will not resonate with everyone, and if it doesn't resonate with you, no worries, just pass it on by, and I do hope you find what you're looking for. Okay, so we're looking at a period of time from June the 18th to July the 12th. And I'll put the actual dates up here for also the pre-shadow, post-shadow, to let you have a better idea of the times that we need to be aware of Mercury. So let's start at the beginning. What exactly is Mercury retrograde and why is it such a big deal? Why do people talk about it so much? Due to the way our planet orbits and interacts with the orbit of other planets, sometimes it appears that these other planets are moving backwards through the sky with respect to the zodiac. In fact, this is an illusion, which we call in astrology retrograde motion. So between 3 and 4 times a year, Mercury appears to travel backwards or go into retrograde. And you'll hear it called Mercury retrograde or Mercury retrograde motion online. It means the same thing. These times we traditionally associate frustration, accidents, delays, confusion, problems with communication to this type of energy or this type of cycle. In Western astrology, all the planets' attributes are rooted in ancient Greek and Roman mythology. So Mercury is the god of travelers, literature, poetry, merchants, communication, and thieves. Yeah, he's considered to be cunning and clever, witty, but he's also recognized as a trickster. This quick-moving planet doesn't just govern communication, but also travel and anything having to do with technology. So Mercury isn't the only planet that goes retrograde. This particular planet goes retrograde, like I say, 3 or 4 times a year. But it is one of the inner planets, which is said to affect us much stronger than the outer planets. So it has the potential to screw things up related to communication, travel, messages, commerce related to shopping, or cause minor accidents and just kind of cause mischief in our lives. But it also shows or highlights what needs to be fixed in our lives. What areas maybe we've been ignoring, haven't put our attention on because we didn't want to deal with it or because we just didn't feel like we had time to. Those areas will be highlighted during a retrograde. So there is some good news with this cycle, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And also each retrograde is flavored by the sign that it's in. So we look at it like this. Mercury is the planet, and now we've discussed what it governs, but it will be going retrograde this cycle in Cancer. So let's talk about how that's going to impact us as well. Cancer rules our emotions. It's a very sensitive sign. Retrograde cycle in Cancer will also affect our daily interactions, how we communicate, how we express ourselves. Even though normally you don't have any problem with it, you can speak, you can talk, you're a professional speaker, guess what? During this time, you're going to end up with muddled thoughts. You're going to come out with problems speaking, diction problems, so it can be really a difficult time to convey your ideas or your emotions to other people. And if you try and manipulate the situation by maybe picking specific words to get your point across, it may not come out the way you think. So once again, check and double check any written communication, and definitely if you're speaking to someone or if someone is speaking to you, ask questions and clarify everything, okay? On the other hand, this cycle being in Cancer is really great because it influences our domestic life. Any home projects begun prior to the retrograde cycle, it's a great time to finish those up. It's a great time to have family reunions online, contact people from the past. It's not a great time to sign a lease, move house, buy a house, do anything like that. And like I say, we'll get into the particulars per sign in other videos. Usually it lasts between 2 to 3 weeks. and then Mercury goes forward again. You can still have some mishaps during that, and that's called the post-retrograde shadow. And that's why we track those times too, just like the pre-shadow. Things can start kind of going wrong then. If you know, for instance, something is in your control, such as an elective surgery, planning a date for a party, or planning, a big event, you would not want to plan it to be during Mercury retrograde or the shadow or the post-shadow if at all possible. It can really negatively impact your schedule. The reason you wouldn't want to have a party during this time would be you could expect delays with the caterer, you could expect problems with the venue, you could expect perhaps bad weather that would stop people from attending, mishaps with communication, people, not the GPS suddenly doesn't work and people are going to the wrong part of town, not being able to find the venue, things like that. None of this is generally catastrophic, but it's just another layer of complications that, come on, let's be honest, we don't need. Especially right now when everybody's kind of frazzled anyway. So you can expect Zoom to probably go down. You can expect maybe YouTube to have some issues as well during this time. It's not uncommon for internet mail systems to go down or be compromised, or for you suddenly to get, spammed on Facebook. Like I say, it's not really catastrophic. It's just, annoying. Another thing that generally happens is, let's say you have a routine dentist visit. You're going in for a cleaning. They call, they confirm, yes, they're going to be open, yes, you're going to go, but then you get there and the office is closed, or the office has moved to another location and somehow you were never notified. It's things like that. So you can expect delays, missed appointments, missed deliveries that are delivered, to an address you haven't had in 10 years, or to your neighbors who are out of town, things like that. Another problem that we generally always see during Mercury retrograde is problems with small appliances. Suddenly the toaster won't work, those kind of things. And generally, that could mean your phone as well, or your computer. Normally what happens is text messages are sent, but they don't ever arrive. You'll see where you sent it, but you can see the person hasn't seen it. And maybe they haven't seen it because it actually never arrived, even though you sent it, which doesn't make any sense, but yeah. We may face problems where the phones just won't work for periods of time too, so that's not uncommon. You may also find it difficult to make decisions during this time. That's why we always say it's never a good time to do any kind of negotiation, sign any contracts, make any major life changes. This is a great time to turn inward and reflect on changes, yes, but not a good time to actually put the house up for sale or quit your job and start looking for another one. Not a good time for that. Wait until after the shadow is done. So this particular Mercury retrograde is from June the 18th through July the 12th. And you may see some fluctuating dates online having to do with time zones, but that's generally what we're looking at. With this one being in Cancer, it's really going to affect us on an emotional level. Emotions are going to be heightened. We're going to be much more sensitive, much more prone to having our feelings hurt, much more prone to having problems blown out of proportion with people close to us, our spouse, our children, our brothers and sisters. Yeah, those kind of things are just going to really go from small to huge issues just really quickly. So we just need to be aware of it. Inner dynamics of personal relationships will probably feel this. It's going to be common to have arguments with your partner during this time. It's not unusual for people that are planning weddings or baby showers or things like that to suddenly be at each other's throats over something like, what type of dip they want to serve. Things like that. Things will get out of control really quickly. So just be aware of it and then, step back, because it's not just you feeling it, it's the other people too. And when we know this, then we cannot take it personal and we can diffuse the situation. So what can we do during Mercury retrograde that's positive? Well, as I said before, this is a great time to turn inward and really think about what's going on in your life, what needs to be changed. So this is a good time to get clear on what you really want and what practical steps you would need to take to reach those goals, to reach that level of success or security or whatever it may be. This is also a time when you may find that you're a little bit depressed, You're going to be obviously more sensitive. You may be kind of melancholy. Now, nostalgia is always normal in a Mercury retrograde, but this one being so emotional, it's likely that yes, you may reach out to people from your past, or, you may suddenly be contacted with childhood friends, forgotten relatives, those kinds of things. That's completely normal. It's just part of this cycle about really looking at where we've come from and deciding where we want to go. Maybe set some new goals, maybe think about past lessons and how the situations have played out based on the decisions you've made and the actions you've taken. If you would like some added insight into this, definitely check out the Mercury retrograde per sign videos. They'll be going up between now and Mercury retrograde. And also, if you would like a private reading, I have just a very few open this month and next month. So if you're interested, I'll put my information up here and of course in the description box below. Some of the things that you can do that would be very proactive during this cycle would be clean out closets. Any useful items that you no longer want or need, you could donate to charity. It's a good time to work on your home. It's a good time to do any type of art or self-expression, whether it's painting, gardening, embroidering, whatever it may be. Time to lavish attention on your fur baby or pet. It's a good time to really take care of yourself, schedule in more downtime, schedule in time for some TLC, and do the things that really support you and make you feel nurtured and cared for. It's also a time when doing yoga, meditation, any type of spiritual work will definitely reap benefits now and for the months to come. This is also a good time to commit to doing shadow work, which is going back over the past and looking at some situations and doing what you can to heal it. So each sign will be impacted a little bit differently, but overall we can expect for all of us to be much more emotional. Most of the signs will feel also like they're caught in chaos and confusion, not knowing which way to turn, not knowing what to believe in the media, not knowing who to listen to. So you're going to see a lot of that, and people flip-flopping on opinions because they're just confused and nothing really seems to make sense, which is not a big change from how it is now, right? Mercury also governs things related to your daily routine, everything from due diligence to your immediate environment. If there's something that needs to be reworked or organized in your day-to-day, it will probably come up during this retrograde and be unavoidable. So if you've been thinking, yes, you need to get into a routine, this is the time to do it. So remember, we're going to be extra emotional because Cancer is a water sign, and water, of course, is all about emotions. And it's a cardinal sign, which means that it flows confidently and effortlessly. So we're talking about having that kind of just fall apart for us, but it's okay because our intuition is also going to be boosted during this time. One of the lessons will be learning to trust your intuition, learning to differentiate between fear and actual intuition. This combination of Mercury and Cancer will definitely hit us in the family sector, and any and all repressed emotions associated with your family are likely to come to the surface. So we can expect to see people wanting to or longing to reunite with long lost relatives, reviewing paperwork with relatives, maybe doing some genealogy. Suddenly, you're wanting to talk to your great aunt's third cousin and make a connection with them. And partly that's because of the pandemic too. All this time being in quarantine makes us want to reach out there more and connect with people. So that's going to be an issue in this as well. So that's why it's really important to get stuff done before that. Don't sign any papers, any documents, don't propose, don't change jobs, none of that stuff during retrograde. So take care of all of it now before, and if it's something you can't take care of, then postpone it till after the shadow. So that's a lot going on, I know. But it's okay, you've got this. We've been through much worse, much more turbulent Mercury retrogrades than this one. This one, for some signs, they're just basically going to sleep through it and not even know it happened. For other signs, yeah, we're going to be more emotional, and we're going to have to deal with maybe some emotional issues that we've swept under the rug. And that's not going to be fun, but it's going to be something we need to move forward in our soul's growth, and it's part of this whole ascension and this cycle of change that we're in. Can you do this? Of course. The way to stay on top of this and make it easier is to not fight it. Now that you know what to expect, you can also be kinder and more patient with the people around you. And you can also extend some of that kindness and patience to yourself. If you find you're becoming emotionally triggered, then you know that it could just be Mercury. So you can calm down and think before you speak. You know too that there's a chance that your communications are going to be lost. The best thing you can do is check and double check. When you send something off, make a phone call and make sure people received it on the other end. And other than that, just laugh it off because there's really not much we can do. Mercury has got that trickster energy and that, the best laid plans can fall apart just by an email not being sent. So just keep that in mind, double check, turn inward, don't lose your cool, and have a plan. Have a plan before it begins of what you're going to do and what you want to accomplish. And you should be fine. Some of the signs will actually, like I say, not even know this is happening, and others will even excel through this. So be sure and watch the videos for the particular signs. I hope you found this little mini class helpful. If you would like your own personal reading, you can of course find me at Serenity. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and being a patron of Serenity. I really appreciate it. Take care. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.